Rainmaker University, this is real estate coaching, teaching logic over emotion. All of these real estate agents, they need to learn that consistency comes before greatness. Competence equals confidence. I can promise if you wanna grow, I can teach you what to do. I can turn you into a rainmaker, a rainmaker. This is a real estate game changer.
All right, what's going on, everybody? David Frost here. Just wanted to come on here. I haven't been on in a while, sharing, kind of, some real estate tips and some business stuff. So today I wanted to come on and basically share with everybody kind of like my top 10 things that I've learned over my time as an adult, right, and a business owner. Okay, and there's a lot that you learn, obviously, as time goes. I'm 50 now. Just turned 50 this year. Woohoo, made it to 50. And there's things that you learn from life experiences that you just can't teach. You can't coach. Like, it just happens. Even in my first year of real estate, I remember I was doing really well. Now, I sold 14 houses in my first year, kind of just blindly out there doing stuff, and just the hustle and consistency got me to do that. But I remember a broker in charge told me, the thing that you have, Dave, is you bring all these different life experiences to your career, which exactly I agree. Is some people just have more life experiences than others based on age, but also based on career that they've been in before, because real estate is usually the second or third career to most. So if you didn't know that, that's statistically true. Okay. So I want to bring some of these to you, because I think even not in real estate, could be in mortgage business or any other business. These are the type of things I think that you should be really utilizing and understanding moving forward to be successful. Here's what I will tell you. And a lot of people are going to say, well, that's cocky and ego and stuff. Absolutely. I am full alpha male. I have an ego. I'm very competitive, but I will tell you this, everything that I have been a part of, that I put my full effort, energy into and wanted to do, has always been successful. Always. I've never failed at what I wanted to do because I wanted to do it. Do you understand? A lot of people do a lot of different businesses. I watch agents, they're mortgage lenders, and then they're this, and they own this business, and none of them are really ultra successful. And that's okay if that's what you're looking for, not what I'm looking for. I want to go all in on something. I mean, even when I coach, my travel now 12U team, which were 10U, like, I went into that to make our team the very best I could make it. All those girls, the best players they could be, the best teammates, right? Understand the game in whole, right? So when I'm all in, the results usually are pretty good. And that team is pretty good, by the way. We've done pretty well, just as an example. So let's get into a couple of my kind of life experiences, things that I go by, what's made me successful. And even Brittany, now she's running her own pitching business, personal or private pitching lessons. And she's ultra successful, very highly successful. And a lot of what I'm going to tell you today, we both share here in a certain way, because she's very competitive too. So let's go with the first one. Passion is often confused with anger or aggression. This is probably one of my number one things from the outside. People looking at me saying, man, he's aggressive, or he seems angry. No, I'm very passionate about anything I'm doing, anything that I am a part of, where I'm either in charge of or leading. I'm very passionate about. And remember this too, a lot of people have been leaders for a few years and they have a good run at it, right? But when you're a leader the majority of your life, like me, I've been in a leadership role since I've been 22 years old. Okay. Do you understand? Like, in the military, I was a leader, life death leadership, not paperwork leadership, right? So it's a big difference. And then as I got higher ranking and went into a different career of law enforcement, CID, then I was in charge of life and death, criminal investigations, murders investigations, bank robberies, sexual assaults, right? All those things I led teams into conducting and solving. Big difference as a leader versus some Joe on the street here that maybe, nothing against any industry, but maybe they're a mortgage lender and they're leading 4 people on lending. Not that that's not tough. I'm just saying a little different leadership there, right? So even in real estate, it's a different leadership than what that was. But passion, I'm very passionate about everything I do. And a lot of times us that are passionate about what we're doing, others see it as aggressiveness or aggression or anger. But I promise you, a lot of times it's not. It's just we're passionate about what we're doing and we want to make everybody better that we're around when we're doing that. Second piece is logic over emotions. I say that all the time because you have to think logically with everything you're doing versus emotionally. The world right now is built on emotions and feelings. If you haven't really figured that out, I don't know what world you've been in, but everybody who has a problem with something is a lot of times thinking of it emotionally, right? Like I'm going to say this right now. Some people are not going to like this and really maybe tune me out now, but it's like immigration. The big thing right now is immigration, right? Illegal versus legal. But if you ever think about this, we don't really need to have immigration. We've got enough people being born every year. We don't need immigration. It's not a right. It's a privilege. I can go into that all day, but the emotion of it is what's driving the conflict with people who are thinking of it by law and logic. Law says this. You see the difference? That's a logic versus emotion. Okay. Number 3, never take advice from those who have never created anything, right? Or they've never been on the hot seat. All right. This goes for, I've had conversations of yesterday, or others trying to, give a little bit of advice who've never sat on any hot seat as a leader. They've never been a leader. They've never led anybody. They've never had to make tough decisions. They've never had to do any of that, yet they want to try to give advice to people. And this goes into the next one. Honestly, it's going to go right into that one too. It's, you just don't take advice from people who haven't created anything, who have never led anything consistently, who hasn't been on the hot seat to make decision after decision that you're looking for, stuff like that, right? Here's the other piece. Number 4, love is never blind, right? The saying is love is blind, but it should never be blind. Me and Brittany do not always get along with business decisions or ways of visions or this or that, right? We go with what logic over emotion. We go with what we think is the best. That may go against what I think, right? And that may go against maybe what she thinks. Just because we're married doesn't mean we just agree with the spouse. There are some people out there that I know right now that their spouse drives them. Their mommy and daddy drive them. Their uncles or grandmas, their best friend, their past real estate agent. They are the ones who really drive that person to these decisions just because of a relationship of love or caring. Listen, when you're in business and you're trying to be a shark and try to get to another level, love can't be blind. Your spouse who has nothing to do with your career field can't be the one leading you into where you need to go. Just because you love them doesn't mean they're right. I learned that when I joined the military and went away from my parents. I realized I love my parents, but they live different. I didn't want to live that way. And when I started really meeting other people, I started learning different things. And it was different than what my mom and dad taught me and how they felt. And overall, you form your own type of thoughts and ways and decisions, right? But just because you love them and you care for them doesn't mean they're right about what you need to do. So sometimes you got to dump those you love to get ahead in life. I promise you that. That is the truth. All right. Number 5, true leaders create future leaders. True leaders create future leaders or independent type people. There's a lot of fake leaders out there. They lead things, organizations, teams, people. But if you look at the umbrella of what comes off of that, as far as leaders leading on their own or going out on their own, that will tell you if they're true leaders, because they're able to take somebody and help create them into something and allow them now to move on and become their own leader. Those are true leaders. There's a lot of people leading, but by giving. They're only giving. So they create dependent people. And some leaders, that's how they thrive. They want people to be dependent on what they give them, right? That's not really a true leader. That's somebody that wants people dependent on them to pretty much milk them. Okay, so true leaders create future leaders. Number 6 is never be fearful of conflict or tough conversations. This is something I'm good at. I am not scared to address issues in any type of room to any type person if I feel like things are not right. Right now, you may say, well, that's a bad thing, and maybe that's why you've had some conflict here and there. That's exactly right. If you go to the book, the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, which is a great book, by the way, it talks about that. Like the best teams are able to do that, right? But it takes the 2 people that are having the conflict, or maybe the multiple people, to be able to understand conflict is okay, right? You've got to talk through these things, because when you don't have that they're gonna leave because their feelings are hurt. Their feelings involved. It's not logic. Again, it all plays together. Okay. Number 7, things never get better with time. Everybody's heard that, but I'm a firm believer if it's rough in the beginning, it's never going to be better as time goes. Never. So just remember that. If you join something, if you're on a team, you join an organization, you've got a new job, whatever it is, and it's not what you thought it was, and it's not good, or it's not going to get better. It just won't get better with time. All right. Or over time. Beginning, usually it's like the honeymoon phase. Everything's hot to trot. Everybody loves it. Everybody's good. Yeah. And then over time, things happen that could cause changes in those emotions to make them think different. Okay. That's number 7. Number 8, accountability is not control. Okay. Holding people accountable doesn't make you controlling those people, or make make you feel like you're under control, right? So accountability is just something that everybody needs. They do. But some people need more accountability than others. Okay. Some people won't get up to do certain things unless somebody else is there holding them accountable, making them do it. Or there's consequences for not being accountable, being fired. Okay. That'd be one. Being fined, going to jail, things like that are holding people accountable. And some people need more accountability than others. Okay. Number 9, most people nowadays prefer the nice lie versus the hard truth. And boy, is that more truthful than anything. I feel like the emotional pieces. Everybody's feelings get hurt. So they take the lie because if it's nice, versus like, hey, look, this is the truth. You want the truth? I'm going to give it to you. This is how I know this is the truth. That's going to be, what you should value. Those are the people you should value, is the ones telling you the truth, and integrity is important, and they're transparent with what they're doing. Okay. The ones who are secretive all the time are the ones doing things that are not honest. They don't have the integrity. They don't have the fortitude to just tell people how they feel, right? They do it on the back end. They sneak it. Okay. So you should value those who are telling you the honest truth, even if it's what you don't want to hear. Okay. Number 10, here's the biggest thing. Winning matters. Winning matters. If you're in a household and your parents are telling you it's okay that you lost, it's okay, they're setting you up to be a loser. They are. They're setting you up to lose in life. Life is about winning. Think about it. Life is about winning. Some people are winning more than others in life, right? Because of the choices they've made. And some of the things that I mentioned, earlier in this video. Okay. So winning matters. I had a conversation with a father for a softball team, and he tried to tell me winning doesn't matter. Okay. And I said, no, it matters. And here's why. In this example, there's rumblings or complaint, and when you're coaching, parents want to know why my daughter's not playing this position, why they're not hitting more, why this, why that, right? Everybody wants to know all this stuff, right? What cures that is they're on a team that wins, right? Winning cures everything else. You've ever heard of that? If you look at major league sports, if the coaches don't win, what happens? They're fired. If the players don't perform, which means winning, like performing, hitting the ball more than not, they're not on the team. Okay, I know I'm going to professional, right? Surgeons have to win. If they don't win, people die. Makes sense, right? Kids go to school to learn and they have tests. Getting good grades on tests would be counted as winning. I would say so, right? Versus an F, that's a losing piece. So everybody wants to skirt winning and losing. Winning is very important. Don't lie to yourself. Don't act like it isn't important. It's very important in everything you do. Those who tell you different usually are on the lower end of winning. That's why they're telling you that, because certain things aren't happening for them and their wins are very small. So they tell people, and even their kids, it doesn't matter, right? It does matter. My kids all know winning matters. Okay. You're not always going to win, but it matters. And how you go about it and get up from losing sets you apart as well. And the last piece, the extra credit piece, is I stole this from Nick Saban. If you don't watch Nick Saban talk and go to some of his videos, or Bill Belichick even, okay, Dana White, these are some great people to listen to in business and in sports and mindset. But Nick Saban said this best. He said, high achievers do not like mediocre people. They don't like the mediocre players, high achiever players. They just don't. I know that. I don't like mediocre people. I don't like people who settle for less, who mooch off others, who have done nothing but are the most vocal, right? Because they're not high achievers. They don't work to be high achievers. They all they do is sit and talk about the high achievers, and they complain about the high achievers. And I'm talking about anything. It could be a coach. It could be a lawyer. It could be a real estate agent. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, high achievers do not get along with mediocre people, period. Just so you know. All right. So hopefully some of this stuff, sheds some light and gives you some good advice. If it doesn't hurt my feelings either. Like I said, this is stuff I've learned and why we are highly successful in what we do, both Brittany and I. And a lot of the real estate agents that I've coached and the teams that I've coached, their success there, it's a proof of concept, right? That's what I always say is people who say they're successful, well, what's the proof? Let's see it, right? So the proof of concept is there with what I've shared with you today. So, all right, hopefully this helped. Talk to everybody later. Have a great day, great week. All right, take care.